Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Stephanie, and today I'm excited to show you how to build a proactive WhatsApp wellness AI agent using n8n and the Vonage WhatsApp API. So this AI agent checks in on users' mood every morning, and it can be scheduled to run at a specific time every morning. And it also offers guided breathing and meditation tools that can be customized, and it also seamlessly escalates to a human counselor when needed. So I find that this AI agent is useful for mental health and wellness coaches who want to automate daily check-ins, or even telehealth providers who are offering proactive patient engagements, HR teams boosting employee well-being at scale, even clinics and therapists who want to extend care between sessions, or even individuals who are seeking personal check-ins and on-demand support. In this tutorial, I would cover specifically how to prepare your n8n instance, how to secure your Vonage WhatsApp channel, that is enabling the WhatsApp sandbox or registering your business number. I would also walk you through how to configure your credentials and webhook, and also design the core workflow and also integrate AI and PDF resources, which you could customize to suit your own workflows and your own best practices. So as usual, I would walk you through how this workflow works, and then once I do a quick demo, and I'll show you exactly how you can build this step by step. I would also drop the template in the description box so that you can download it and try it out. And do let me know if there are any improvements or if there are any additions you'd like to add to this workflow. Okay, so let me give you a quick walkthrough of how this workflow works, after which I would sort of demo it for you to have an idea. Okay, I have this workflow here that I created, which is basically to sort of start the whole process. So you can schedule this to run at specific times during the day. You can decide to make it run at 9 a.m. For the purposes of this tutorial, I decided to just use a manual trigger instead of a scheduled trigger. If I use a scheduled trigger, it means I have to wait around till it's time, okay? So I'm just using a manual trigger in here. So when I execute this workflow here, you'd see that a message will come through, okay? So it's asking me this message. So I'm going to go back into the main AI agent. So the first part is just the trigger. So this is what happens. So this webhook here is configured to sort of take the response from the Vonage API based on any conversation that goes through the WhatsApp channel. So this webhook here receives the response, and once it receives the response, it extracts the user's response. So depending on the score that was put in WhatsApp, if I go back, if I said, let's say a 718, it will show up in here, and you can see that it would extract the score and also extract the type. So I do have like a switch statement in here that basically works based on what response I gave. So this switch statement here sort of does a check-in. It can provide coping strategies, it can decide which type of exercises, and it has a fallback, which is a chat option. Okay, so depending on what the response is, if the response is, let's say, more than a 5, then basically what happens is that it sort of routes to this branch. If it's more than a 5, it means that they are okay, and because of that, you can send an uplifting message for the day. I already configured this assistant in the OpenAI developer portal, which I am using in my AI agents in n8n, and I'm going to show you how all these works and how you can do it yourself as well. Okay, so now this is really what the uplifting assistant does. It provides an uplifting message based on the score. Now this is where it gets a lot more complex. So if it's less than a 5, it means that the user isn't happy, or maybe they are not feeling themselves for that day. So if it's less than a 5, I'm sending a follow-up question to the same WhatsApp agent or the same WhatsApp chat window, and I'm basically asking them a simple question. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry you're feeling low. Would you like a quick breathing exercise, a guided meditation, or you want to talk to a counselor? Okay, so based on the response they provide, whether they provide exercise, meditation, or counselor, this response again is picked up by the webhook, and then it's routed back here. This time around, instead of it's going to the check-in, is going to come to coping, because now we are asking for coping strategies. Okay, so based on the response that comes through, if it's an exercise, if it's a meditation, or if they want like a counselor, it routes into a different branch. So for instance, if they want an exercise, then we go in again and ask them specifically, like, what is the area of concern you're looking at? Concern, should I focus on? Should I focus on anxiety? Should I focus on stress? Should I focus on panic, sleep, or focus, right? So depending on the response they give, it comes back, it picks it up, the webhook picks it up again, and then comes through the anxiety switch. And what the switch does is that it's checking, okay, is it anxiety they want me to focus on? Is it stress? Is it focus? Is it panic? So depending on the response that comes through, we send it through this exercise assistant. I created an exercise assistant in the OpenAI developer portal, okay? And this is slightly different from the uplifting assistant. So the uplifting assistants, I don't have any customizations. I'm just leveraging ChatGPT to provide a message. But again, if you're a therapist or a wellness coach, you really know the type of messages you want to send to your customers or your patients. So in that case, you can always customize it. So in this case, with the exercise assistant, I'm providing it with specific information. So I have a file in here that has like breathing exercises for common users. So the general anxiety, do this one. If it's stress, do this. If it's panic attack, do this. If it's trouble falling asleep, do this. So this is like now my knowledge base for that specific exercise assistant. So this same data is what the exercise assistant is using. And I've programmed it in such a way that it can only respond based on the data I have provided it, okay? So it would not go take information from anywhere. It should just leverage the data I have provided it in the knowledge base. If the user responds with the area to focus on, let's say anxiety, then this exercise assistant will go through the whole PDF, and then based on the exercises I have provided in the PDF, the exercise assistant is gonna give that to the customer or give that to the patient as a response. Now, on the other hand, if the patient responds that they want, let's say, meditation, then in that case, I have a link. And again, this you can customize. You can put this in a database somewhere and say that, and again, send a follow-on question like, what areas you want to focus on? And based on the response, then you can provide them like a link to a meditation. So in this case, like if they say they want meditation, I'm just going to say, okay, here's a link to the meditation you can try. Okay. And then I provide them a link to like a YouTube page where they can go listen to a lot of like meditation. And then finally, if this is a really big issue, then we just notify a counselor right away. And then we let the patients know that a counselor has been notified. So that is it. That is how this entire workflow works. And in the interest of time, I'm not going to demo exactly how to build everything, but I'm going to show you at least how to build a single branch. There are a number of things you need to put in place first before you can start building. The number of things you need to have in place before you can start building your wellness WhatsApp AI agent. So the first thing is you need to set up your Vonage API, specifically the WhatsApp channel, so that you can start communicating via WhatsApp. And then the second thing is to have all the data you need. So for instance, like you saw, I had a PDF for breathing exercises. So you need to have those type of information ready so that the assistants can pull data from it. And then thirdly, you also need to create your assistants in the OpenAI developer portal. So let's start with the Vonage API. In order to sign up for your Vonage account, you first need to put in your emails, and then you need to put in your first name, then your last name, and then I'm going to use a password, and then the country code, I'm going to choose Canada, and then the phone number. So as you can see, once you create an account, it brings you here where you need to verify your email. You see a pop-up here about optional channels. So you just have to check the WhatsApp channel. You click on continue, and it's gonna send a verification code to your phone number. Okay, so in here you'd see your API key, you see your account, and then you'd see WhatsApp, you'd see Viber, you see Facebook Messenger, Instagram, you see all of this. So what we're interested in is the WhatsApp channel. So you just click on add to sandbox, and then you'd realize that you get like this QR code, and then you'd also get like the WhatsApp number. So once you click on it, it would open WhatsApp on the web for you, and then you can continue on with that. So now that we have our Vonage account set up, the next setup to do is your OpenAI agent. And then again, with this one, you need to go into platform.openai.com, and then all you have to do is you come into assistant, and then you can really click on create, give it a name, you give it the system instruction, and then if you want to give it like some additional information, like you want it to pull from just that specific database, like what I demoed earlier with the exercises, then you can come in here and then attach all the files you need. Okay, but if you don't need it and you want it to just pull from the web or other sources, then you can specify that in the system instruction. So you come in here, you enter your system instructions, and then you put in like the files you need. Also, in terms of response format, you can decide on whether you wanted to respond with a text, you wanted to respond with a schema, because if you're using it in n8n, maybe sometimes if you wanted it to respond with a schema or like a JSON object, you can also specify that as well here. So now that we have our AI assistant set up, we have our WhatsApp channel set up in Vonage. Let me show you exactly how to build this. Let's come back into n8n, and in n8n, we're gonna click on create a new workflow. Like I mentioned earlier on, we're gonna have two separate workflows. Okay, the first workflow is the trigger, and then the second workflow is gonna be like the workflow that has all the different steps based on the options the user input. So let's come in here, and I'm gonna start with the manual trigger, and then I'm also gonna add like the HTTP request node. So now if you go into Vonage, I just want to show you how this works. Okay, so I'm gonna have this HTTP request node. You'd have the call code here, so all you have to do is copy this call code, come into your n8n automation, and then you import curl, and then you paste it in there. Put in the message, good morning, on a scale of 1 to 10. How are you feeling today? This message can be customized based on your own workflows, okay, and how you want to present it to the user. With a full workflow, we're going to start with a webhook trigger. We are using a webhook trigger because of the communication we want to have with WhatsApp. So we want this workflow to be triggered when it receives a response or when it receives an input through WhatsApp. That's how come we are using a webhook trigger. Take note of your test URL and your production URL. They're very important. If you are doing this in a test environment, then you can use the test URL. If you are doing this in production, then you use the production URL. All you have to do is copy your text URL. Then you come in here, and then you paste your test URL, and then you say the webhook. Okay, so that's all you need to do with setting up your webhook. So for instance, now if I should listen for a test event, it sends me the message. In terms of response, because we are going to end with a webhook, we're going to say use response to webhook node. If you are configuring a webhook node and you're using like the respond to webhook, then you need to make sure that you have the response to webhook node configured. I'm going to come in here, and then I'm going to click on listen to test event. I put in 2 here. You see that my workflow should now pick it up. So you can see that it picked it up because we have the response to webhook node here. Okay, so this is good. Now I want to extract the user's response. Okay, so if the user says 2, then I want to do something. If the user says 5, I want to do something. For this specific part of the tutorial, I'm just going to focus on just one branch because I don't want it to be long. And I'm going to drop the template so that you have access to all the branches. Now I'm going to put in this code node, and really what this code node does is that it sort of like extracts the user's response from all the messages that come through here. It extracts the user's response. So if I come in here and I should execute the step, you see that it extracts specific information. It extracts the type, it extracts the phone number, and then extracts the score. Now that we have the response extracted, the next step is to route the response, okay? And this is where the switch becomes very important. So I'm going to add in a switch, and this switch node has 4 different routes. The first route is, I have 4 different routes based on the responses I get. So I've configured this in such a way that if the response is less than a 5, then it means that it should route the user to strategies. If the response is like more than a 5, it means that they are doing okay, and so all they need is an uplifting message. So that's like just checking. And if they want coping strategies, then I come back and ask them like, what type of coping strategy do you want? If you want an exercise, then in terms of exercises, I have areas to focus on, which is why I have the exercise consent, and then I have a chat fallback. In this tutorial, I'm just going to focus on just one branch, which is the check-in. So this check-in here really is trying to check what response the user entered, okay? This check-in is trying to check what the user entered. And if the user entered a 1 to like a 4, then it would evaluate the score and then provide the necessary steps. If the user entered like above 6 to 10, then it will come back into the switch statement and check with the coping strategies. So this is really just the check-in branch. It's just checking for the responses that came through. And then I have this evaluate score function that really like extracts the score and sort of evaluates the score to see if it's a low or if it's a high. And then I do have an if statement here. So this if node is basically checking if it's a low, then do something. If it's a high, then do something. Now I've configured it in such a way that if it's a low, all right, if it's a low, then it means that you have to come back to coping strategies. So if it's a low, you're going to send like follow-on questions to the user, and we are basically just going to ask them, like, you're going to say that, oh, we are actually sorry you're feeling low. Would you like a quick breathing exercise, a guided meditation, or you want to talk to a counselor? So based on the responses they give here, it will route back to the switch that has the coping mechanisms, okay? So if it's true, it means they are low, then send these follow-on questions. Mind you that if you're using a webhook, then for every branch, you want to have like a webhook response branch in here, okay? If it's false, which means that it's not a low, it's a high, then this is where I just want to leverage the AI assistant to generate an uplifting message. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click on the Open AI assistant. You can use this one as well. I find it to be helpful if you're going to be attaching documents and stuff, then you're better off using this because it's a lot more easier to attach documents on the back end. Okay, but then if you don't have any documents to attach, then you can just use this one. Don't get me wrong, you can still attach documents with this one. It's just a lot more complicated. Now, coming into the OpenAI assistant, I'm just clicking on message and assistant. Mind you, I already created my assistant in the back end, so I don't need to create an assistant again. I'm going to select the assistant from the list. Okay, so I already have an uplifting messaging assistant. So I'm just going to be using the assistant for this particular part of the process. And then in terms of the source prompt, I'm just going to define below, and I'm going to be using this exact source prompt. I'm putting in the score that was gotten from the WhatsApp message, and I'm saying that based on the user score, send a message. Okay, and mind you, I already have my uplifting message assistant configured here, and this is a system message for it. In terms of memory, I'm just going to use the thread ID. Okay, so if you don't have any specific thread ID specified, it would create a new thread ID for you. The benefit of the thread ID is to make sure that it's following on the same conversation. All right, so that's good. I'm going to come in here, and then I'm not attaching any tools here. You could attach tools. Let's say you have a noting database of different things that you'd want to attach, maybe patient information, maybe you want to check are they on some medication, like you can attach a database in here to do all the checks before drafting an uplifting message for them. Okay, and maybe if they have a medication that they take, you can say that, have you taken your medication? I see in the database that you have to take this medication. Have you taken it? Have you not? So that's beneficial. You can attach a database in here. So you get a message from the AI assistant with the uplifting message, and all you want to do is you want to send this message back to your WhatsApp AI agent. And again, I'm going to add like a response web. This is all good. This first branch should be working fine. I'm going to test it out by executing the entire workflow, and let's see what we get. Okay, so I'm going to come here first. I'm going to start with executing this workflow. Come into my WhatsApp. You can see that a message was sent. I'm going to say I'm n8n, and then I'm going to come in here, click on execute workflow. So because I'm n8n, it means that I'm doing really good. So then if I come in here, it's like, amazing, you are a 9 out of 10 and it's fantastic. Keep riding the wave of positivity today. Your energy and joy are truly inspiring. Keep shining bright. So that's all. That is it, guys. That is it. If I had said one, it's gonna route me back in here and ask me follow-on questions like, do you need exercise, meditation, a counselor? And then if I had configured those routes, then it would basically like follow the steps based on the steps I have defined, based on the rules or the steps I've defined in the other routes. So yeah, that is it. That is it, guys. That is it for today's tutorial. Let me know in the comment section below, are there any workflows that you'd like to see me demo? And yeah, if you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to my channel, share this video, all the good stuff. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.